Hello, my royal lovelies. Welcome back to the channel and of course, welcome to my home. Today, I'm going to be answering some questions that you have left me when I put out a community post saying, please send me some comments and questions and things that you'd like me to talk about. So we have quite a few to get through. So let's just, without further ado, start with a comment from Kelly Boyd, who says, I'd love it if you did a whole episode, if there is enough content, believe me there is, on all of the different brooches in the royal collection. I have seen some lovely ones and it would be interesting to know all about them. Thanks for everything you do. Well, thank you for your comment. Well, yes, it would be very interesting to do a video on all the different royal brooches, of which there are many. Now, I do have some royal replicas in my collection, including the one I'm wearing today, which is the Canadian maple leaf brooch. So you may have seen various royals wearing it. So yes, this is a complete replica. It would take definitely a full video to do all of them, and I'm looking to expand my collection even further. So I do have my eye on a few pieces, but one thing I will say, the replica royal world has caught on, because when I first started, but this is actually an official replica from Buckingham Palace. They don't sell it anymore. But yeah, I basically had a number of brooches, official ones from the palace, that were not too expensive. Now, if you look for royal replicas, including the tiaras, they have gone up in value. I think I've actually ended up buying some investment pieces. So now the pieces that I've got my eye on are quite expensive, I have to say. But if I do get any, I will share them with you. So good idea for the video. Me Jones Sop says, hello, royal reviewer. So grateful for your information as I can count on it being researched and not just gossip. Well, thank you. I do pride myself in that. Although I do have to comment on gossip. That's the thing I think people forget sometimes, is that I'm not saying that the gossip is true, but I have to kind of comment on the gossip because that's what royal watching is about. Sometimes we don't know, or we never get to know the official. So commenting on gossip, exploring all the different possibilities is something that I do like to do. My question is, do you think that Lady Louise will be invited to take on royal duties? Edward and Sophie seem to have taken on more royal roles. Why do the papers seem to worry? Oh, let me start with the first bit of your comment. So Lady Louise is currently at university. She's at St Andrews in Scotland, where she is studying English. And I do believe she started in 2022. There was also a story out about her working part-time in a garden centre. So yes, Lady Louise is still carrying on with further education. So I don't expect to see anything in terms of royal work from her in the near future. And of course, she's more than likely to pursue her own passions and interests. I would imagine they would be outside of the royal family. Technically, we do know that Lady Louise is an HRH and she is a princess of the United Kingdom, but she is choosing at the moment. It's her choice, not her parents' choice at this age. So I do believe from the age of 18, she has been able to choose herself at any point in time whether or not she takes up the HRH and uses it, or she styles herself as a princess of the United Kingdom. So far, she has not done so. Will she do so in later life? Who knows? But at the moment, the rules are still in place under the George V Convention, which says that when she was born, she was the granddaughter of a reigning sovereign. Therefore, she was entitled to be HRH and a princess of the United Kingdom. That still stands. Even now, we have a change of monarch. It is Lady Louise's birthright. Right, second part of your question. Why do the papers seem to worry about William speaking out about wanting to do more than just be a patron? I have enjoyed being a Patreon of this channel. Well, thank you so much. I think the issue is that he's, I suppose, challenging the current status quo, and anything that challenges the current status quo is going to garner interest. from the press, and it's also going to be used as a bit of a slight to say, well, I don't agree with my father, what he's doing. I didn't agree with what the Queen was doing when she was sovereign. I'm going to do things my own way, which is one narrative to look at it. But I actually think that King Charles III is more in line with William's train of thinking than what the press give him credit for. I think King Charles, in the interests of stability and continuity, is carrying on much in the same way that his mother did. However, there are subtle tweaks. So, for example, we are seeing the King speak out more on issues that perhaps Her late Majesty would have kept a little bit more tightly zip-lipped on. So, for example, we have seen the King speaking out on climate change in recent days. Her previous Majesty did speak on environmental issues, but not quite in the same way and the same passion that the King is doing. So I think there's a little bit more slack being cut for the new sovereign, and I think William is moving more in that direction, and I definitely think we will see some changes over the coming years. Slow but steady wins the race, but I do not think that there is a misalignment in where William is going and to where King Charles is going. Let's not forget, King Charles has always championed for many, many years, for many decades now, a more slimmed down monarchy, which kind of fits with the less volume of royal engagements but more in-depth involvement that William is petitioning or positioning himself for. I hope that makes sense. Good question. Matthews 3682 says, we've seen items on Queen Camilla, Princess Anne and Catherine, Princess of Wales, from the Queen Elizabeth's jewellery collection. We have indeed over the past previous months. Each now has a 3-strand pearl necklace. Well, we don't know exactly what was bequeathed in Queen Elizabeth's will. Potentially, the items that we are seeing have not been bequeathed outright. They could be on long-term loan from King Charles and Queen Camilla. So, for example, any necklaces that Catherine, Princess of Wales, is wearing could be just on long-term loan. I would imagine the necklace that we all assume is Her late Majesty's, and there's been some talk about it. I personally think it is Her late Majesty's. That potentially could have been something that Princess Anne was allowed to choose herself as a memento, but the bulk of everything goes from sovereign to sovereign, so from Queen Elizabeth to King Charles. Like I say, it wouldn't surprise me if many of these items have been on long-term loan, which we may learn about when things are divulged to the media, where sometimes Buckingham Palace say who the designers are, where the jewellery's come from, and sometimes it does say on long-term loan. So I think over time we'll get to know, but I think the one that Princess Anne is wearing is probably more likely something that she has chosen or been left in the Queen's will. And by the way, I don't think we'll ever get to know what is exactly in the Queen's will in our lifetime anyway. Has Sophie or maybe granddaughters worn anything we might recognise? I mean, prior to the Queen's passing, I think we saw Princess Charlotte. I think we've seen wearing a little horseshoe as well. So things will come out in time, and of course there is so much royal jewellery that has not seen the light of day for generations still to come. So buckle down. I think we're in for a good jewellery ride over the next few years. You think they should share with Sophie? Boy, has Sophie and Prince Edward been working hard. They most definitely have, and racking up the air miles. Commercial, naturally. Yes, well, they have. They are very hardworking, and Sophie and Edward were most definitely held highly in Her late Majesty's esteem. And Sophie, as a granddaughter, not a granddaughter, as a daughter-in-law for Her late Majesty, has been rather exemplary, I do believe, since marrying Prince Edward. So, it would not surprise me if she hadn't been left anything or was allowed to choose something. Perhaps we will see more things on long-term loan coming her way. Although I do like her aquamarine pieces. Fuzzy Puppet says, where are pieces like the Strathmore Rose tiaras kept? Do you think Catherine was shown different tiaras and chose that one to go with her gown? I was so surprised to know how long it had been since it was seen in yes, around about 100 years. So we do not know exactly how the jewels are stored. We know the crown jewels are stored in the Tower of London and are on display, but the personal effects of the royal jewels belonging to King Charles III, now mainly being worn, of course, by his wife, Queen Camilla, I think the majority are kept in storage at Buckingham Palace. And the reason why I say this is because we had a very strong hint during the Queen's dressmaker book by Angela Kelly, who was the Queen's dressmaker, dress designer, and curator of her personal jewels. So in the book, we saw Angela Kelly getting jewels ready at the palace. She was polishing the Vladimir tiara, the one with the big circles that you can interchange with pearl drops or emeralds. So I think the bulk of them are held at the palace. Also, we know from Harry and Meghan that there was a palaver regarding tiaras. Now, I'm not saying what Harry and Meghan were saying is true and correct, but what they say is that they had to go through Angela Kelly to get to the tiaras. So I do believe that part. So yes, I think the majority are probably kept in vaults at the palace. And oh my goodness, wouldn't I love to go to those vaults? Give me an hour. I would just like an hour. An hour. Close the door on me, open up all the jewels, and just give me an hour. Who wouldn't want an hour? And a mirror. I want a mirror, and I want all the jewels laid out on a table, and I want an hour just to try them all on. Oh, amazing. Absolutely. I would flip. I really would. So the majority at the palace, and then of course, as the monarch moves from residence to residence, any jewels that are needed, daywear jewellery, if you're hosting a state occasion, for example, at Windsor, the jewels will be selected and then moved to the relevant location, or if they're going on tour and the jewels are needed. But yes, I think the majority will be held at Buckingham Palace. As for the ones that we haven't seen for many, many generations, I think they are there as well. And I do think that I don't think Catherine was given a big selection. I think, but by the way, I checked my royal jewels, my royal diamonds book, the official one from the palace, and it does say that the Tech tiara and the Strathmore Rose were on long-term loan to the Duchess of Cornwall, now of course Queen Camilla, from Her late Majesty during Her late Majesty's reign. So I can definitely corroborate that. So it looks to me, perhaps, that Catherine had a choice between the Tech tiara and the Strathmore Rose, of which I don't have a replica Rose tiara, but I do have a replica Tech tiara, which I've worn in recent videos, actually. So I think Catherine could have had a choice of two. Both are of similar stature, so it makes sense that perhaps she would have been given a choice of those two, plus that Queen Camilla, as Duchess of Cornwall, had not chose to wear those tiaras, I think because of stature of them. I think it would have got lost in Queen Camilla's hair. So it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see the emergence of the Tech crescent tiara on Catherine at some point. Queen of Kingsbury says, do you think Prince Louis will get a title when he's an adult or upon marriage? Yes. Most royal princes, sons of potentially the next sovereign, do often get royal dukedoms, as we know, upon their marriage. If they remain unmarried, then sometimes they do not. And Prince Louis could remain Prince Louis of the United Kingdom for years to come. But no, if he marries, then potentially there will be a royal dukedom winging its way to him. Do you think Prince William will continue the idea of a slimmed down monarchy? I don't think you can slim it down much more. I think the only thing you could potentially do is with titles. Potentially you could limit the titles to literally the heir. So potentially, you could make it so that when you could put rules in place, it could be the King William convention rather than the King George V convention, where, perhaps it's only the immediate heir, the direct heir, in line to the throne that is given prince or princess, for example. I mean, that's just a... But I don't think it will go there. I don't think we're going to see that. We've seen it a little bit more in Europe, but I don't think we'll see it in the UK. RR Dragon says, do you think Harry will ever wear medals issued in his father's name awarded by his father? He wasn't wearing the coronation medal, let's put it that way, when he was doing his remembrance event. So if he has got one, and we don't even know if he may not have been sent one, but if he does have one, he's not wearing it. So I think it depends. Your question hinges on whether or not relations are improved between son, brother, and Harry. Would he ever use his new cipher or monogram as the son of the sovereign rather than the son of the heir apparent, as he has done recently? And why do you think he hasn't used it yet? Sometimes these heraldry things take a while to be created. We're seeing the same thing with, obviously, the royal family order of King Charles III. So perhaps the heraldry hasn't actually been completed yet, although it's been long enough for that to be done. It could be a choice. Harry could be choosing to besmirch his new position, but then again, his new position is higher than what it was under his grandmother. So that leads me to conclude that perhaps the heraldry hasn't been made available yet. Perhaps it's not actually been updated. Perhaps it's not a pressing issue for the palace to have it done. Or perhaps Harry's just literally not particularly bothered by it. So there we go. Matthew says, given that the King and the Prince of Wales got closer to Her Majesty the Queen in those final years, do you think she will refrain from giving any interviews, Catherine, I think you mean, going forward, or when she became Queen Consort? I'm not quite sure who you actually mean. I think you're talking about maybe Catherine and Queen Camilla. I don't think we'll be having any interviews, especially from King Charles and Queen Camilla, about Her late Majesty. I think there were interviews done prior to the Queen's passing for the eventuality of the Queen's passing. And I think that is probably all we're going to get from them. I could be wrong. I could be surprised, but I think that's probably all we're going to get. What medals do you think Harry will get and wear in the future? I mean, like I say, he could have been given a coronation medal, perhaps choosing not to wear it. So unless he wears them, we aren't going to really know if he's even been given them. And no, I don't think he'll be made I don't think he'll be bestowed any further royal honours associated with the monarchy whilst he is continued to be stepped back. Auntie M58 says, looking forward to your video showing where the royal properties are located. Yes, that was a brilliant idea. I will get round to it eventually. So look out for that video at some point. I'm not going to commit to when. Cherry17011 says, I heard a comment that the monarchy is in jeopardy. What is your opinion? Well, I have spoken about this in previous videos over the last week. And can you reassure us that the royal family and supporters will have a long-term plan to utilise their extended family to support King Charles and eventually Prince William when he takes the throne? Catherine goes from strength to strength. Was the flash of the leg an accident or planned? I think it was a wardrobe malfunction. Perhaps it was a translation error. I don't know. Either way, the beautiful leg quickly dominated world. It did. She stomped on that media with that leg, didn't she? Either way, the beautiful leg quickly dominated the world media and showed X-Family how irrelevant they are. I adore your channel and the content. Right. The monarchy is not in jeopardy. There was a recent poll saying that there had been an increase in people wanting a republic, but there are always swings and roundabouts. By the way, it was only, there was still maybe 40% were over 50% were in favour, 13% didn't know, the rest wanted a republic, according to one poll. But it is important to note that polls swing up and down depending on what's going on. Polls were incredibly low with the monarchy, for example, after the period of Diana's passing, quickly recovered to a period of almost unanimous support for the monarchy. So I don't think anything's in jeopardy. People are not walking the streets with pitchforks, and people are not saying about how much they want a republic. There will always be anti-monarchy voices who shout very, very loud. The poll that I've just quoted from, I do believe it was actually commissioned by Republic, the anti-monarchist group. But the majority of people, let's put it this way, I don't think the monarchy is going anywhere anytime soon. I think it is in safe hands. I think people are, okay with King Charles and Queen Camilla. The succession went very, very smoothly. There were no, waves of public outrage going on at the time. And I think people are very open to the next stage, which of course will be William and Catherine when William ascends to the throne eventually. I don't think we'll get to a jubilee, but we'll see about that. But yes, I have no doubt in my mind that the monarchy is just fine. There's just a lot of noise at the moment, in particular on social media. Also, do you think Archie and Lilibet will help George during his reign? Depends on the relationship between brothers, William and Harry, and what sort of a relationship Archie and Lilibet have with George and the other Wales siblings as they grow up. I mean, it could be that they're very, very distant, and therefore there would be no help at all, to be quite honest. So yeah, I think that one is very, very, very up in the air and dependent on a lot of factors. Gloria says, is Prince William going to be formally declared Prince of Wales in a ceremony like the one his father had in 1969? We don't know. Basically, what we have to do is think about the times that we're in. We're in hard economic times. We had to have a coronation, although it was a stripped back coronation as far as coronations go. I think it would be seen as an unnecessary expense at the moment to have an investiture of Prince of Wales at Carnarvon Castle. I have visited Carnarvon Castle before I was a vlogger, and it is a very majestic place. It's basically a ruin, but it's a very majestic place. So no, I don't think we're going to see one imminently. If things improve with the economy, then perhaps there could be justification. But not all Prince of Waleses have had an investiture ceremony. What I think I would favour is perhaps a stripped back investiture. If people are worried about the cost, I say maybe don't do it at Carnarvon Castle. Maybe do it at a castle that's already pretty much set up and ready. Scale back on the guests. There is already an existing Prince of Wales coronet, I do believe. I think King Edward VIII, did he retain it? And then perhaps it was given back after he passed away. Anyway, William could use his father's coronet, or I think there could be another frame available in the royal collection that could be used. I think they should do it at Cardiff Castle, the capital of Wales, and they could use one of the rooms inside the castle for a more intimate investiture. Very, very, very stripped back, but one that obviously would still see him invested. So I think they should explore different options with that one. RR Dragon says also, do you think Archie and Lilibet will have to ask permission to marry? It depends, how far they are up the line of succession at the time when they get married. Those closest to the throne in the line of succession at the time do have to seek permission. So yes, I believe they would. Would it matter if they ignored it? Well, no, I don't think it would. I don't think it would invalidate any wedding, but it's more out of courtesy, to be quite honest. And yeah, it may make a difference as well. For example, where they get married. If they got married in the States, and of course, they will be American citizens as well. So, yeah, I personally don't think they will ask permission. I think technically it could be required in terms of here in the UK, but no, I don't think they will, and I don't think it would matter. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Let's put it that way. Maxine says, do you know anything about what Lady Louise is doing? I have just told you that one. Our Dragon says, also, what do you think will happen to Harry, Archie and Lilibet during George's reign? I've just said, depending on whether or not they are living in the UK or in the States. I think their lives are destined to be that of the children of celebrities, what they call Nepo babies, or Nepo babies, or whatever it is. Basically, that means the children of celebrities who have everything handed to them on a plate because of the position they're born to. Kind of a little bit like the royal family, only when you're a celebrity, you're standing on your own 2 feet. So I think they are destined for a life of celebrity, which, could be a curse. We've seen lots of children of celebrities not faring too well when they don't really have a purpose. It's different, for example, if they've inherited a talent of their celebrity parent, but if they haven't inherited any talent, and, there isn't much talent going on in Castle Grayskull right now. Acting, maybe. Perhaps we could see Archie or Lilibet being actors. But no, I think they are destined for a life of, or a curse of being celebrity children, Nepo babies. Are you looking forward to Christmas festivities? At the moment, no. I'm feeling a bit bar humbug. I've got the Christmas ambience on the screen. We haven't got our Christmas decorations up yet. They're not even down from the loft. I'm feeling like I've got a lot to do. I'm busy. Really, really busy. So they will be up, and I'm supposed to be doing Vlogmas on the other channel. But the first Vlogmas vlog might be a little bit bar humbug, I have to say. But yes, I am looking forward to some festivities with the royals. Of course, Camilla's family, the Queen's family, are expected to attend Christmas lunch at Sandringham, and we may even see them walking to church on Christmas Day. Something to look forward to. Do I think Archie will have the Duke of Sussex title when married, as Harry would still be alive? Well, no. Archie will only inherit the Dukedom of Sussex upon Harry's passing. And let's not forget that Prince Archie could also have had the courtesy styling of Harry's secondary titles as well, which potentially he could still have if he wanted to. But I think he'll be quite happy with Prince Archie of Sussex. Do I think he'll receive a new title dukedom upon marriage, or in general? No, I don't think he will, because he's not a working royal at present. If that situation changes, then potentially. What would he and his children be known as? If Prince Harry were to drop the Duke of Sussex title, would he and his children be known as of Wales? No, because that's now gone. So if Harry dropped his dukedom, but retained the HRH, then he would be His Royal Highness Prince Henry of the United Kingdom. And Archie and Lilibet would still be the same. They would be Prince and Princess of the United Kingdom. They wouldn't have an of anything. If Harry were to lose the HRH and drop the Dukedom of Sussex, then he would be just regular Prince. Well, no, he wouldn't be anything. He'd just be Henry Mountbatten Windsor, and therefore the children would just be Mountbatten Windsor as well, unless anything else. But that's unlikely to happen. We're talking about massive hypotheticals here. Do I think Prince Archie and Lilibet would become working royals? No, I don't. Why does Meghan think she can keep insulting our intelligence? Because she's not very intelligent, or she's so self-absorbed, wrapped up in her own little world, that she thinks that what she's saying, and Harry, by the way, this goes for Harry too, I'm not singling out Meghan, they're both wrapped up in their little worlds, and they're so into their own bubble that they think people just believe what they tell them. And there are certain people that do, and I think those people would be quite wrong not to question what's being put before them. I wonder why the late Queen Elizabeth abolished the seasons of the debutante balls from the Georgian era. It was seen as being outdated, and of course there was a rise during the 50s, 60s, 70s of, I suppose, female rights, rights for women, and attitudes towards women were changing, in particular after the war, where many women had gone out to work for the first time during the war, shortage of men, and, you know, that cat was well and truly out of the bag. And I just think it was seen as, you know, presenting women to potential suitors. It was just not seen, I think, as I suppose it can be seen as wokery. I mean, if that was happening today and something long-standing was being stopped because of that, then maybe it's one of the first examples of wokery going on. Anyway, it was abolished, if you like, but unofficially it still went on, I suppose, behind closed doors for private parties and all that kind of thing. What is the furthest away position of all the late Queen's children, grandchildren? Do you think will be in line of succession apart from Charles? Oh, well, I mean, the line of succession just keeps going on and on and on. It doesn't just stop at, 100. It keeps on going. So there would have to be something pretty catastrophic to the entire line going back, thousands of years for there not to be somebody in that line that could take the throne if required. And let's not forget, thrones are won and lost in battle as well. Inheriting a crown is only one way to assume or to accede to a throne and a kingdom. You can, of course, if you have a big enough army and you have a big enough support, you can, of course, storm a country, storm a capital, take the sovereign, do away with them, and plant yourself on the throne. So, yes, let's not forget that monarchies and thrones and kingdoms are won and lost in battle, and that is quite a legitimate way to a throne. When William becomes king, apart from his children or older royals, who do you think will support him? Good question, and one that is problematic at best because of how stripped back things are. It would have been, of course, Harry and Meghan would have been in the fold to support, and then potentially, if required, Archie and Lilibet could have been there. But because of the position of stepping back, that's unlikely to happen. The most likely scenario is that when William is king, or even during King Charles's reign, if it is absolutely required that there are more members of the royal family, if that is such a pressing issue to fill that void, then I think Beatrice and Eugenie, should they want to, would be perfect. Let's not forget, although they are not titled, we also have Zara Tindall, and we have Peter Phillips, who potentially could be given titles and could carry out royal duties. So there are options. Also, in years to come, we may see a return for Harry and Meghan, or just Harry on his own. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? We are here to watch it happen. Clint says, hello, I'm interested in Prince George, Duke of Kent, Princess Marina of Kent, the royals, and current old schools, and Princess Margaret. Well, I do have some good books on the more older generation of royals, past and present. So perhaps I could do a video on some of those. I did do a video once on the lesser known royal family members, which actually did quite well because people just don't know about them. Not interested in the former royal and the woman he married who lives in Montecito. Castle Grayskull. That's what I'm calling it, Castle Grayskull. Anyway, I've come to the end of all the comments, so thank you very, very, very much. I'm sure you'll all be leaving your comments and opinions in the comment section below. We touched on many issues today. So thank you so much for your comments and questions. I will in the future leave another post asking for your questions in the community post, but I haven't done that yet, so don't leave any questions in this video. I will announce when I'm looking for some more. Right, I should, before I go, show you what I'm wearing jewelry wise. So this is a replica Queen Victoria sapphire tiara, which is actually quite nice to wear. So I'll pop that back on. I've already said I am wearing the Canadian maple leaf brooch. I'm wearing Princess Diana's aquamarine ring, now in the possession of Meghan. So this will definitely be in Castle Grayskull. I'm wearing a 2-strand pearl necklace, and this isn't a royal replica, but it was one of my late grandma's. It is an opal. There we go. It's an opal necklace that it's an opal brooch that I've put on the pearls to turn it into a kind of choker. So, you know, if I had it a little bit tighter, for example, I could wear it up like that, which then makes it look a little bit similar to the one that Camilla has. Anyway, it's not actually a royal replica, and I've just messed up all my pearls. Right, thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course do hit that bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, mwah, to you all, and goodbye.